it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. We are at day number 22 of DEPHEMEREMBER. This is an ephemera making challenge in December hosted by 49 Dragonflies and Louisa Heinzel, whom I've linked below in the description box. So today we're working with mushrooms and circles. So first I'll tell you a little bit about what I would have done versus what I'm going to test today, and that's my alarm that I always forget about. So if it were in season, what I would be doing is showing you how to do spore prints with mushrooms that you could forage, and how to spore print them on both black and white paper and make some fun, interesting things that way. But we're a little too late this year, unfortunately. The other thing I thought about was I actually do dehydrate a lot of different interesting mushrooms to use them in like resin or art projects. And I was thinking about taking some of my dried mushrooms and cutting them in thin slabs and then maybe laminating or sealing them in between, like in a pocket. I just couldn't pull the supplies together. It's a very busy week, as you can imagine. It's holiday season. So I'm going to try something I haven't done before with a mushroom. I've done it with other vegetables and things like that, but never a mushroom. So I'm starting out today just with this scrap piece of paper that I would never use for anything. So it's a piece of scrapbook paper that has all these words on it like honor, sweetheart, dear, I have no idea. So anyways, I want to use it up. So I just folded it in half. It was a 12 by 12. Then I folded up about half of it and made a pocket here. So that's what we're going to use as our base. I stitched around it. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of prepare it like a canvas to be able to be painted on. So what I will do is actually grab a couple of paints. I wanted the background to be a few colors. So I'll start with just a little bit of white. That's more than a little bit. Hold on, let me just get some of that off of there. It's so hard to get paint out of this thing, although whoops, I should be putting it on my palette, which is actually right here, not directly on the paper, but you know, rebellious ways. So I'm just going to kind of roughly brush over this to just cover up that paper a little bit. I do like the text in the background. I think it's kind of a nice text. I just don't want the words to be readable really, and I'm sure they won't be by the time I'm done doing what I'm doing here. And I'm really hoping this works. If it doesn't, I'm probably going to have to just make a whole new video because I don't know how I will recover it. I have no plan B. And somehow this blue is not open. I thought I was using it yesterday. I guess it was a different bottle. Okay. Sorry. There we go. Shake it up a little. This time I will actually put it on the palette so that I don't put a ton. Yeah. Okay, so a little bit of this. This is just an Americana acrylic paint in Spa Blue. So I just want a bit of a background in a little blue. Okay. Then next is going to be the grand experiment. I'm a little nervous. Actually, you know what? I want to do, no I don't, I'm good. So I grabbed this big mushroom actually out of my refrigerator. This is just a grocery store mushroom. I buy my mushrooms from a local mushroom farm, and this is from a package called the Slightly Irregulars. So, you know, when mushroom farms are selling you mushrooms that you see in the grocery store, they're looking for certain things like basically uniformity. They want all the mushrooms to be the same size, have the same kind of shape, have a relatively straight stem. So this one, it has nothing good going for it. It is sort of an irregular shape. It has a crooked stem, and it's way too big for your typical, you know, boxed or bagged mushrooms. So that makes it pretty perfect. So I'm going to just give the stem a little wiggle here to do that, to just essentially get the stem off. And so take these spores that I've collected here and just shake them off. So my plan today, it's not one with a whole lot of planning. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the outside off a little bit, because what I'm trying to do with this today is I want to actually try doing printing with it. And if I have this rim, it's going to be higher, risen up higher than the gills, and I don't want that because then I can't get the paint on the gills. Now some of the gills are kind of collapsed. I don't know how this is going to go, so let's just try. I'm going to use a Crafter's acrylic paint. It's an inexpensive paint and it's a thinner paint, and that's exactly what you want for something like this, assuming this is even going to work. This would be the best intention you could have to try to do this. And I'm going to go a little heavy but not super heavy. And of course I'm going in brown, so you're not even going to really be able to see what I'm doing, unfortunately, until it's down. I am going to use other colors if this works. So we're just going to cover all these gills. And actually, you know what, maybe I'll just mix a little of the brown and the blue and see what kind of color we get here. Why not? Eek. So this is the problem. This was a little collapsed. Not to worry though. Okay, let's try our first print and just see what happens. Just going to give it a wiggle, hold it firmly, but don't crush it. Okay, so still see, we only got the printing of the outside, so that means it's still too high. I'm going to just cut a little more from the side here. I'm going to be extra grumpy if this doesn't work because I'm also destroying a mushroom that would have been yummy. And I'm going to let that fall away. Okay, we need more paint again. Try again. Oops. I'm just going to put it in the same spot again. Okay, so yeah, it's printing. I'm going to try to drop it one more time and see what happens. Okay, so this time the gills are coming a little more clearly. Yep, there we go. Now we're getting what I'm intending. So secret is just not too much paint, or try a few times, do a few prints, and you're going to get that gill. Okay, let's try it on this backing. This is just coffee dyed paper that I put underneath to kind of, there we go. So I think that this is more just me trying to sort of share a new technique with you than actually get like a really super high quality product out of what I'm making at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see what I can whip into shape here. Because I might actually just use these for something too, now that we've got them cut out. Okay, so we've got a few prints. I think I also wanted to try to add another color to the original piece. So let's set these aside. I'll probably be using them for something. Like I said, I have next to no plan today, so we'll see what happens. We're gonna roll with it. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna use this. It's like a metallic black. I'll show it to you in just 1 second here because it's a really cool paint. Okay. Don't be scared. I know this looks crazy right now, but we'll see where we go with it. Oh yes. This one is printing nicely, actually. Okay. Okay, so we have our definite mushroom in the background now. So that paint is actually called Arteza Acrylic Colors Premium Fancy Black A709, and it's a beautiful metallic. So I've got these mushroom prints in the background, but this looks way too like blocky to me at the moment. So let me just get rid of this. Now the other way that you could print with mushrooms, just an FYI, would be to cut them in half this way, and then you would have like the half of the gill and half of the stem, so you could print that way as well. Okay, so this actually I could use for something else. Let's just set it there now. Set my mushroom friend over here and think about what can we do to make this a better situation. So I had intended, this is actually paper I was using yesterday. It's a really old book, and I have this circle punch, and I thought I would punch some circles with some blue and some text showing so that I could use them on this. And so I'm going to just cut out a few of these. I also haven't even chosen a focal point. So that's okay. We will find one. Let's get these out of here. Come on. Don't be afraid. Come out. Oh, goodness. Punches are just the most difficult thing sometimes, I swear. Okay, come on. There. All right, so now I'm thinking about, this will allow me to break up this whole blockiness. Just reopen the pocket here so that we don't glue that down with paint. And then this will basically be like a background. Okay, then let me grab, you know what else I'll do with these actually before I'm just going to ink these with some black soot around so that they can stand up on the page. Okay, I know this takes a minute, but we'll be okay. It's the holidays. I don't want to do like hours of editing right now. Now that I'm thoroughly covered in black soot for another day. Okay, hand model career has gone out the window this year, and I'm okay with that. All right, so let's just be decisive and like glue these down, because then I won't be tempted to kind of play with them a million times. So let's glue them right down. Okay. Okay, so this still looks a little bit too much to me, but let's work with it. Let's just keep going. So next, I think I want to try to find a focal point. So let me grab a book here. I'm thinking about this one because it actually has some mushrooms in it, and I really love this chipmunk book, Chipmunk at Hollow Tree Lane. So you can see there's a mushroom, and I really think if I could find something cute in here, it would go nicely on that busy background. They're also larger pieces too, so if I wanted to, I could, like I could use something like this and just split it across the whole thing. So let's see if there would be like a perfect mushroom in here too. If you don't have any mushrooms like that you can cut out from things, like a field guide, there are plenty of digitals on Etsy, people selling cut out mushrooms. Okay, so I'm not seeing any mushrooms left in there, but I do think the squirrel on this page, actually this cover and this mushroom could be cute, but it's a little wide. Let me grab my mushroom book. Okay, so I got my pocket guide to mushrooms. I selected a couple of mushrooms and I cut them out so you didn't have to watch the process, but this is just a mushroom field guide. This one is photography. An illustration one would be even better. So I did select a couple of mushrooms though. So I'll set them aside, and I also decided on which chipmunk from the Hollow Tree Lane book I wanted, so I'll get that out of the way. So it's this one, with this little berry in his mouth, and I'm going to keep this page handy in case, these are such beautiful images, but just in case I want to use anything from it, because the colors are very different. Now, that brings me to the topic of colors. So I don't really feel this color as it is. It doesn't speak mushrooms to me really, so I want to go over it actually entirely with some Distress Oxide in Fossilized Amber. And I think that, you know, it's still going to give me tones of blue as I wanted, but it's not going to be like the overwhelming color. I just want to warm this whole thing up, but still have a little bit of blue because, you know, it's kind of a fall and winter lore theme that I'm going with a bit here, so we'll leave a bit of blue. Okay, but overall I just think that that's more kind of like cohesive. It just kind of tones it down a little bit, and that's why I've chosen this large focal point, because this is such a busy background. So what I want to do with this little guy is I want to actually split him completely so that the pocket will be in front of him, and then I'm going to add the mushrooms afterward, and then possibly some other things. So I think first I'll decide how I need to cut this little guy, and I'll do that I think first with a pen or pencil here to just follow the line of the pocket. So just do a light kind of pen line across him here. There we go. So now I will just glue him down. Okay. Just line him right up to the pocket. Back a little bit because we want his hand on there. Okay. We don't lose all of the mushroom spore or the mushroom gill printing behind, which is good. I just like the idea of sort of showing you how you can use the prompt as a material and as a theme. So there's lots you can do with mushrooms. Okay, and then just line that up again. Bring him down a little bit on top. I can. There we go. Okay. I think this corner could use a little more glue. There we go. Okay, so he is affixed down. Now the mushrooms. Let me just get rid of my mushroom cap. I won't be needing that anymore. Just want to move up a little. There we go. So we have this big, tall, beautiful one here, and we have this one here. And I don't want them to get lost in that background. So I have to think about what I want to do with that. And I'm thinking, coming back to kind of our circle concept again, but this one would be a little rougher. We're going to just maybe, this is very, very old book page. Tear sort of a circular shape that we could create a bit of a block here of noise, just like a noise block. And then pop those mushrooms here. Okay, so yeah, I think that's good. Now I just want to go around the edge with some black soot. One and maybe this one. I don't know. That might not be what I need. The book page might just be too plain. I'm not sure. Or too similar to the background. Or too similar to the mushroom color. Actually, coming off of it, I kind of like. I wonder if I added some gold on the book page with gilding wax here, because I haven't possibly gotten my fingers messy enough yet today. So it was time to add the gilding wax. Okay, yeah, that sort of helps them to stand up a little more. Just check the direction here. What direction looks better and what position? This is the challenging part, really. I almost wonder if that one chunky one just doesn't belong. That could be the problem. Maybe we just want the tall one. And maybe it lives over here instead so that we don't lose that part of the background. Yeah, this one just doesn't, I don't know, it's just not right. I like that on its own though. I think I'll go with that. Yeah, okay. Tough decision making. Okay. Alright, so there's our mushroom. So we now have a pocket that's kind of like hidden in this image, and we have a mushroom. We worked with circles. Now, I was thinking about like these, if I could add some kind of another element to this by just kind of rough cutting. Well, what's my favorite one maybe? I think this one up here is kind of my favorite one. Let's just kind of rough cut this out. Okay. And then, thinking about how another element might be used here. Because I was also thinking it'd be nice to use a little birch, because like birch is so great for growing different kinds of nice fungus kind of mushroom. And I don't want to completely close the whole pocket, but I also don't need the entire width. And then I also have some silk leaves I was thinking about using here too. So like, what if maybe this was behind? I just really want to appreciate the spore printing a little. Or the gill printing rather. This isn't spore printing. Don't let me get the Mushroom Nation after me. Okay. I have an idea. Give me 1 minute. Okay, I am back and I just stitched this on exactly as I had kind of been demoing, right? So we still have the pocket. And then we have this up here, and we didn't close the pocket in at all. If you were really wanting to use the entire pocket, you could cut across the birch, but I'm fine with that. That's a really large pocket. So what I wanted to get is this from my collection of dried up things. So this is actually the fungus. It's not really, I mean, it's fungus, but it's not like dangerous fungus. It's like a turkey tail mushroom kind of. But this is what grows on birch bark, one of the different fungi. So I was thinking about how I could use a nice leathery piece of it, because it's been dried for a very long time, and it kind of gets a leathery texture to it. So that's actually quite ideal for this. This isn't something that can grow any kind of spores if you use it in a journal or anything like that. It is a fungus that's very dependent on its host, meaning the birch bark, and it would require water, and, you know, it requires the things a plant does. It requires the sun, it requires all those things. So this is really like a great, it feels almost like a foam board material. So I was just thinking of using a piece of it right there. I just think that would really bring the whole thing together and use this mushroom theme to its like fullest, you know? So yeah, I don't know, maybe as we're graduating through this challenge, I'm going a little bit kooky. And I'm getting a little bit more like, must do things more, must do more. I'm sorry. I might have a little bit of the holiday jitters happening. I have so much to do in such a short amount of time, because I always set my expectations a little beyond what I should, I think. So note to self. So I've just put some Fabri-Tac on there, and I'm just letting it do its thing for a moment while I try to put the pin back in my glue. There we go. So that's on there. Then I had one other thought, and it was about the berry in his mouth, and I wanted to tie that together a little. So I think I just want to cut out this little section here, and then just kind of go around it a little cleaner and cut these little berries out. They look like little rose hips, actually, sort of. And that would just bring like a little pop of color maybe. And I was thinking of doing it maybe down here, because that will also bring your eye down to this bottom mushroom. So let's glue that on. Let's make that decision. Okay. There we go. So yeah, now that little bit of red will just pull your eye down. You'll be like, oh, there's a mushroom down there. Look at that. Okay, so I think we're done. Do I have something? Yes, I do. A little tag I was looking for here. So what would this look like with a little tag inside? So, you know, it wouldn't, the nice thing is you wouldn't even really realize there was a chipmunk there. You don't even necessarily relate that to a chipmunk when that's covered up. So you just have this nice piece of ephemera. I would glue this right down on a page, I think. This would be like a kind of a pre-made page. But then when you pull it out, surprise, cutie pie, he's right there. So that is my use of mushrooms and circles. So I hope you had fun. I definitely did. And I will definitely be back tomorrow for day number 23. So we're getting to a lot less sleeps until Santa's visit. So I hope you're all getting feverishly ready like I am, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I would love it if you did. I have lots of fun things planned for next year, challenges and tutorials and storytelling and a few other things. So have a lovely, wonderful day, and we will talk soon. Bye for now.